Question 76 through 80 in Core Connections Geometry. Question 76, top of the charts. Renee's MP3 player can be programmed to randomly play songs from her list without repeating a single song. Currently, Renee's MP3 player has 5 songs loaded on it, which are listed below. As she walks between class, she only has time to listen to one song. So part A, is each song equally likely to be chosen as the first song? So you can see the playlist over to the right here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total songs, and are they equally likely to occur? Yes, if it is selected at random, they would be equally likely to occur because there are no repeating songs that are on there. They're all different. What is the probability that MP3 player will select a country song? So now we got to dive into this a little bit more. Where are my country songs at? So we have a country song here, here, and it looks like that's it. So we have 2 country songs that can be chosen out of 5 possible songs. So that would be 2 out of 5. If you wanted to change that to a percent, you could, and that would be 40% chance of selecting a country song. C, what is the probability that Renee will listen to a song with a mama in the title? So we'll go through and do the same thing. Let's see where we can find the word mama. So 1, 2, 3. So a total of 3 possibilities out of 5. So this would be 3 out of 5, which would be a 60% chance. D, what is the probability she listens to a duet with Hank Tumbleweed? So Hank Tumbleweed, let's see what we got here. Here's a duet, and Hank Tumbleweed's in there. Another duet, but not Hank. And so it looks like there's only 1. So 1 out of 5 possibility, or a 20% chance that would occur. And then E, what is the probability she listens to a song that is not R&B? So not R&B. So this is not R&B. That one is not an R&B. The third one is. The fourth one is not. And the fifth one is not. So a 4 out of 5 chance that it will not be an R&B song, which is an 80% chance. So once again, you can just leave them in fraction form. It doesn't say write it as a percent, but if you wanted to look at it that way, you could do that as well. Question 77. Use what you learned about the slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines to find the equation of a line that would meet the criteria given below. Part A. Find the equation of the line that goes through the point 0, negative 3, and is perpendicular to the line y equals negative 2/5 x plus 6. So we know it's going to go through this point, which happens to be the y-intercept, which is important to recognize. But it's perpendicular, so it's perpendicular to the line y equals negative 2/5 x plus 6. And that's the symbol for perpendicular, if you wondered what that was. And so we notice that the slope of this line is negative 2/5, and from what we learned, the slope that is perpendicular to that is the reciprocal, but also the opposite of that. So it's negative, it becomes positive, and the reciprocal is 5/2. So we have a point, and now we have a slope for a line. So we can write the equation by plugging the information that we know into y equals mx plus b. Well, actually, now that I'm looking at it, I said that point was the y-intercept, so we don't need to do that. We can go directly to the equation because we do have the y-intercept. Y is equal to a slope of 5/2 x and then the minus 3 because, like I said, this is the y-intercept. If it wasn't, we would have had to go through a little bit more work on that one. All right, let's look at part B. Find the equation of the line that is parallel to the line and goes through the point. So once again, we still have a point that's the y-intercept. Mark it this time so I don't forget. But now it's parallel to this line right here. But it's not written in slope-intercept form, so we need to do that so that we can find the slope of that. And we can do that by adding 3x to both sides. 2y equals 3x plus 10 and dividing by 2. So y equals 3/2 x plus 5. And we want to know what the slope is. We're not concerned about the y-intercept of that line, just the slope, because we're wanting to find a parallel line to that. So the slope is 3/2. the line parallel to that has to be the same. They won't intersect, so it also has to be 3/2. So now we have the slope as 3/2, the y-intercept as 0, 7, so the equation is y equals 3/2 x plus 7. And so remember, that's the equation of the line that's parallel to this line, but goes through that point. Question 78. Examine the diagram at right. Which angle below is another name for angle ABC? No, more than one solution is possible. So let's look at angle ABC. So A is here. Let me choose a different color. A is here. B, and then C. So that's the angle right here is that angle measure that we would be looking at. Now it just wants us to name it with different letters. So we want to find another point on the side where A is. So we could potentially use F. We still have to go to B because that's that middle in terms of where the vertex is, and then we could use C or we could use G. So is there a different variation we can look with that? The other thing is we could just go through the different angles and see if it represents the same angle. So for example, ABE. This would be A, B, and E. Is that the same angle? Nope, that would be that angle. So that one wouldn't work. GBD. GBD. So that would be this angle. That is not the same one. FBG. FBG. So is this the same angle as this? And yes, that is correct. Said there could be more, so let's keep looking. EBC. So E be down here, B, and then C. That's just a straight line across, so that's definitely not the same angle there. And then it says none of these. So it looks like our answer would be C. Question 79, solve for the variable in each equation below, show your steps, and check your answer. So on A, we're going to go ahead and combine our like terms. That's 12p plus 12 equals negative 48. And then we want to get the variable term by itself. So we're going to add the constant, or in this case, subtract 12 to both sides. So that's negative 60. And then we can divide both sides by 12 by using inverse operations to get p equals negative 5. And to check, you would plug it back into the original problem. So 4 times negative 5 plus 8 times negative 5 plus 12 equals negative 48. And you would simplify that to see if you get negative 48. So this would be negative 20 plus negative 40, or minus 40 plus 12. Does that give you negative 48? That's negative 60 plus 12. And so yes, it does work out. So that's a way that we can check to make sure that our answer is correct. Part B. Next equation. Now we have variables on both sides, so I'm going to subtract 9w to both sides. That'll give me 33 equals 3w minus 27. I'm going to go ahead and add 27. It'll give me 60 is equal to 3w, divide by 3, and w equals 20. And then once again, don't forget to show your steps, but also check your answer. And so there is the check, and it once again did work out, so it looks like we're good to go. On part C, we have negative 2x plus 7 equals negative 21. So the variable term is the only one there, so we're going to go ahead and get the constant by subtracting 7 to the other side, and then we can divide both of them by negative 2 and get x equals 14, and then show your check. And so there's the check below. Once again, it did work out. And the last one we have is D. 25 equals 10y plus 8. And we can subtract 8. 17 is equal to 10y. Divide both of them by 10. Y is equal to 1.7. And even though it's a decimal, it still works the same way when you go to check it. We have 25 is equal to 10 times 1.7 plus 8. So 25 is equal to 17 plus 8. And there's the check again, and it does work out. So make sure you are doing all parts of the problem. Question 80. Copy the table below, complete it, and write an equation relating x and y. So as we look at this, obviously we need to fill in some blanks here. I do notice that we have these two connected, so it's only increasing by 1, and the y increases by 3. So what if we keep that pattern? Let's see if it works out. So if we increase again the y value by 3, that would give us 8. Increase again, 11, and increase again by 3, and it does give us 14. So that's a good sign. If we work to the left, we're subtracting 1, so that means we have to work the other way. We need to subtract 3 if we're going this way, and that would give us negative 1. If I subtract 3, that's negative 4. And just to make sure, if we subtract 3, do we get negative 7? And yes, we do. So that looks good. So you can see that the change in terms of your y as we work from left to right, as x increases by 1, so as this increases by 1, the y increases by 3. So that represents your slope. You could also do the slope formula if you wanted to, but we need two things. We need the y-intercept, which is given to us in the table, and we need the slope of a linear equation, which appears to be 3. So given those two pieces of information, we can write the equation y equals 3x plus 2.